Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tranquility Community's official Twitch channel. Tonight, we are bringing you the pregame show between the Holy Jalapeños and the Flashbacks in the Harmony tier. I'm Mr. Yeti, excited to bring you this show tonight. Tonight with me, I have Bard and I have Death Knot. We'll be breaking down the teams coming up here in tonight's feature match. We'll start it off with the returning Holy Jalapeños, the Season 3 Harmony tier champs. Bard, tell us a little bit about the Holy Jalapeños.
Yeah, so very interesting team, very interesting roster, very interesting history. They've been in Trank since Season 3, and their first season in, they won the whole thing. And at first, this was a family operation. It was so Bethcon and Mallard, who are, I believe, brother and sister, could play together. But they've picked up a lot of people. They've started their own org in Trank, and they've added a Discord tier and a Transcendence tier team. Now, the team is run by Bethcon, who's been in charge since Season 3. Obviously, if you are in a family relationship, you can't let your brother run things. It just can't happen. And they've got a pretty admin-heavy roster this season because they've picked up Mr. Yeti. So that's 2 admins on their roster. You've got to think that's going to weigh pretty heavily on Flashbacks when they play. They can't win because the admins will then kick them from the game. But I'm reading this real quick. Oh, they signed a guy on off tank. It looks like Specs. I've got a note next to that. Flashbacks are going to win because they've signed Specs. All right, well, cool. Good to know. Good to know.
All right, well, we'll get into predictions a little bit later. Death Knot, tell us a little bit about the Flashbacks.
Yeah, so Flashbacks debuted Season 4, had a really strong showing in their first season. And then coming into Season 3, Season 5, they went all the way, winning it all. Undefeated. I mean, those guys were just killing it. Now going into Season 6, it's kind of a new team. There's a lot of new faces. I think there's like a couple new faces to Trank altogether. And the rest are some that have been around for quite a while. But Apathy, I think, is their only veteran right now. So we'll kind of see how that transfers over, from the championship team into kind of this new Flashbacks we've got going on.
This new iteration of Flashbacks, definitely very dangerous. Your preseason champion for Season 6. Let's talk a little bit about some of the players from each team, though. Bard, who stands out to you as the MVP, the most important player on that Holy Jalapeños roster?
Well, I've written down here, DPS superstars are going to reign supreme for both teams. And if we're talking about DPS superstars, there is no one who can shine brighter than Mr. Jonathan Robot. That's right. I'm picking Johnny Robot. I played against him in Season 3 and Season 4, I believe, in Harmony tier on that Doomfist. And he was terrifying. And if he's picked up any other heroes at the same level as that Doomfist, then he is absolutely going to just pop off and show us exactly what he can do in this game.
Johnny Robot, Doomfist specialist, has done a lot of work. Very, very well-deserved reputation here in the Tranquility community. Death Knot, what about you? Who's the standout MVP on the Flashbacks?
So already in the preseason, we've seen this new Flashbacks kind of popping as a team. And there's they're all of them are showing promise to be MVP for their team, maybe for the tier. But right now we're kind of looking at Vix, their hit scan player. When you've got a player that plays all of the hit scan, they're in meta right now, like Ashe, Kree, Widow, not so much, but on some maps. But he's also very flexible. He can play the Tracer, Reaper, things, Symmetra. When you've got a hit scan player that can do that, it opens up a lot of different composition avenues for your team. He's kind of been killing. I mean, we've already seen him killing it in the preseason show. So.
Absolutely, Vix, a definite threat as a member of that Flashbacks team. Let's talk about some of the players maybe getting a little less of the credit, kind of the workhorse type players, who's been invaluable to the success for these teams, the successes they do have. What about Bard? What do you think?
Yeah, so when I think of workhorse, I think of someone who's going to flex to cover all the roles when their team needs them to. And if we're talking about a flex who's going to cover the weak points on their team for the Holy Jalapenos, it's got to be Beth Khan. Now, we've talked about specs. They signed that off tank. They're gonna need someone to jump on Diva to cover for that when they need the Diva in their team. That's gonna be Beth Khan. When they need that Ana, when they need that Widowmaker, we've seen both of those from Beth Khan at a really high level in the MVP games. Definitely gonna be looking to Beth Khan to cover those weak points for Holy Jalapenos.
All right, and Death Knot, what about you?
Workhorse for flashbacks. You know, when you think workhorse, you're thinking tanks. You know, you're thinking somebody that's keeping the team alive. But we're looking at Train here from flashbacks. He's a fresh face to Tranquility, you know, in general, and he's already showing that he's a great in-game leader. He enables Vix apathy, you know, their DPS line to pop off, and he you know, keeps Blood Hungry in the game. So,
all right, and last but not least, for each of these teams, you know, there's a lot of great players on them, no question. Who's the player that nobody's going to really be talking about, but deserves a lot more credit? Who's that underrated player on each team? Go ahead, Bard.
Now, this was a hard one for me because I was looking at the Holy Jalapenos roster, and they've got a lot of people who are pretty well known in Trank. And when I looked at their roster, for me, the person that I just looking at the roster, I wouldn't think of was Snipper, because he got locked in at the minimum SR. So I think if you look at their roster, you're going to look at the guy locked in under the SR minimum, kind of moved up to the floor. You're going to think, maybe he's an anchor, but Snipper does a ton for that team. And we've seen it season and season again. He is absolutely incredible on the support. She doesn't grind the comp. So I think people are going to undervalue him just based on his SR.
All right. Death Knot, what about you?
So, you know, underrated. You know, a lot of times you might look at, you know, supports, maybe, you know, main support, you know, especially, but I kind of look towards the flex DPS players. You know, it's not as flashy as a hit scan player. It's not getting all the picks. It's more of the backbone of the damage. So, you know, Anguish in flashbacks, who's previously on Lightspeed, he can flex to, you know, the Pharah, the
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tranquility Community's official Twitch channel. Tonight, we are bringing you the pregame show between the Holy Jalapenos and the Flashbacks in the Harmony tier. I'm Mr. Yeti, excited to bring you this show tonight. Tonight with me, I have Bard and I have Death Knot. We'll be breaking down the teams coming up here in tonight's feature match. We'll start it off with the returning Holy Jalapenos, the Season 3 Harmony tier champs. Bard, tell us a little bit about the Holy Jalapenos.
Yeah, so very interesting team, very interesting roster, very interesting history. They've been in Trank since Season 3, and their first season in, they won the whole thing. And at first, this was a family operation. It was so Beth Khan and Mallard, who are, I believe, brother and sister, could play together. But they've picked up a lot of people. They've started their own org in Trank, and they've added a Discord tier and a Transcendence tier team. Now, the team is run by Beth Khan, who's been in charge since Season 3. Obviously, if you are in a family relationship, you can't let your brother run things. It just can't happen. And they've got a pretty admin-heavy roster this season because they've picked up Mr. Yeti. So that's 2 admins on their roster. You've got to think that's going to weigh pretty heavily on flashbacks when they play. They can't win because the admins will then kick them from the game. But I'm reading this real quick. Oh, they signed a guy on off tank. It looks like Specs. I've got a note next to that. Flashbacks are going to win because they've signed Spec. All right, well, cool. Good to know.
All right, well, we'll get into predictions a little bit later. Death Knot, tell us a little bit about the Flashbacks.
Yeah, so Flashbacks debuted Season 4, had a really strong showing in their first season. And then coming into Season 3, Season 5, they went all the way, winning it all. Undefeated. I mean, those guys were just killing it. Now going into Season 6, it's kind of a new team. There's a lot of new faces. I think there's like a couple new faces to Trank altogether. And
Okay, getting the first pick. Oh, get three, Pyro, get three with the
Wade Kid putting on a clinic. Whole team's down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome, Overwatch fans, to week 1 of the Overwatch Tranquility Tournament. Tonight is our Harmony tier matchup between Season 5 champions, the Flashbacks, versus the Season 3 Harmony tier champions, the Holy Jalapeños. These teams have met on this battleground many times before, but always with some new faces in the pocket to just shake things up. Will we have to break out the Milkies for Flashbacks, or are the Holy Jalapeños gonna be left in the past? We're about to find out. My name's Captain Jack, and I'm gonna be your play-by-play for the evening, joined by Vila on analyst and Big Papa Cav coming in on production. Now, Vila, these two teams, like I said earlier, have been facing off over and over, season after season. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Well, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. The Jalapeños, they kind of had a backslide last season. And I mean, to be fair, when you're in back-to-back finals, there's only really one direction you can go, and that's down. But, for them, it's just going to be all about setting the tempo, getting Season 6 started off on the right note, and really trying to get back to championship form like they were for 2 back-to-back seasons. And then if your Flashbacks, also pretty straightforward. You dominated all last season. You win the preseason finals. You go undefeated in the regular season. You basically monopolize the Harmony tier. And for them, they've already got it kicked off on the right foot. They win the preseason finals again. And now it's just going to be about keeping their foot down and seeing if they can really bring it again here in the regular season.
That's absolutely true. And when we look at these two rosters, there are new names that are going to be coming out. Obviously, season to season, we see people either drop out because of IRL commitments or, move on to the Discord or Transcendence tier. And, there's some big names coming in for both these teams. On the Holy Jalapeños, we've got some real big Trank veterans like Specs and Mr. Yeti. Tank Duo Supreme coming in huge for those Jalapeños. And then if you look over on Flashbacks, some people that we're going to be watching out for, Blood Hungry, which was just absolutely dominating on the dive during the preseason, and Vix on that DPS, just that GM just locking it down, keeping their team in check, and just doing incredible stuff. So folks, thank you so much for joining us. We want to remind you, as always, if you're interested in supporting our community, just hit that heart. It's absolutely free. And punch that bell so you get notified every time we're online. You can also hit that sub button, $4.99, or Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime sub. We'll give you access to some amazing emotes as well as support our incredible community. Now, as you might know, the first match is already decided for everyone in the tier. Is going to be Control Point Elios. Just to keep things fair. And so we're going to go ahead and be starting off on the Elios Lighthouse. Now, Vila, based on what we've seen from both of these teams before and knowing kind of we're in Harmony tier, so the meta does and does not apply. What do you think we're going to be seeing as they get ready to set up?
I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of double bubble. Ryan comps are also, fairly straightforward here on Lighthouse. You can kind of brawl it out over on the point. And, Flashbacks are a team that showed last season that they're really not afraid to run these more meta styles. They're not afraid to just, go beyond just throwing Ryan comps like a lot of Harmony tier teams do, because it's just a lot more simple. You're playing gold and plat players. So you see a lot of like Ryan Zarya, Ryan Diva compositions mostly, but Flashbacks really started to turn that tide and show that you can still play more meta here. And we are going to see some Winston comps coming out from both of these sides.
Yeah, we're actually going to see relatively mirrors, at least on the tank line, as well as the Lucio coming out for Monsoon and Asterix. We already see the high ground being taken advantage of by the Jalapeños as we see Flashbacks looking to see if they can dive in, move their way into the objective. Mr. Yeti gonna end up finding Vix on that Reaper, looking to see if they can grab some value, but the Jalapeños are entrenched. The punch coming out from Dadbot Goku, looking to see if they can get those additional picks, but gonna find the end of Blood's Tesla Cannon. Giga Chad, though, able to follow up on the double kill on Monsoon and Blood Hungry. So it's a 4v4 fight, 3.5 now as Specs ends up getting DMAX by Anguish, and Control looking to flip over in Flashback's favor as long as Snipper can keep them alive, but Anguish going to be able to take them out of the fight. The feed comes in strong from both teams. Neither team has control of the objective just yet, as both Tesla cannons are just looking to pick any squishy at all. Mr. Yeti and Anguish trading blows on the objective as Blood Hungry able to take down their counter, and we'll see Flashbacks take control of the objective.
Yeah, that was very clever by Flashbacks. They do what's called a four corners technique. They let Jalapeños get on the point first, so they're basically just trapped in there with no cover, and then they use all of those openings to their advantage on the left and right and both in the center, and they just completely collapse on them in a very long team fight, but they still get the job done.
Ooh, look at that bounce back coming out from Blood Hungry, just barely able to survive, and the EMP comes out, but the Valkyrie has already been activated, trying to give as much healing as possible. Vix with the double kill, though, on the objective is going to continue to lock it down, 30% and climbing for the Flashback.
And that's just good understanding of how to play the comp and what you're playing against as well. They understand they're playing against a dive comp from Jalapeños, so they play a little bit more out in the open. They give up a lot of space. They go the tanks into doing a dive, and then Anguish comes in, shuts it down with an EMP. They combo it with the Coalescence, and then it's just all done from there.
All right, Dive going onto the high ground, looking to see if they can get that pick onto Blood Hungry early. Diva Bomb going out, no bubble available. Doesn't end up grabbing anyone, but Giga Chad able to grab Blood Hungry as they try to get away. It's a 5v6 fight as Vix coming out with the Primal. Here comes the Meteor Strike and the Death Blossom. Vix not able to get the value that they're looking for, but Monsoon is able to grab Snipper in the end, so now it's a 5v5 fight as they look to try to gain control of that objective. Boot comes out, and Apathy's right over the side thanks to Asterix, but the picks continue to come in fierce for the Flashbacks as they hit the 80% mark.
Yeah, and so far the priority just hasn't been as clean from the Holy Jalapeños. They get a really nice engagement. They get one with the Diva Bomb. Flashbacks look a little bit caught off guard. Kind of got caught with their pants down on that one. They lose Blood in the Diva Bomb. They all scatter in different directions, yet they're still able to bring it back. We see Train with his own Diva Bomb buying a lot of time for Blood to be able to come back, and now they're going to see if they can get out of the way of this Riptire.
Tire goes onto the objective, doesn't get the value it's looking for, and Coalescence now to counter from Apathy, EMP, and Primal Rage all coming out as Monsoon sends Asterix right over the side. It's a 4v6 fight as Holy Jalapeños try to give any semblance of holding on to this objective. Mr. Yeti on the ball, able to come out with that shield, but it's not going to be enough to sustain against the might. 100-0 as the Flashbacks take the Lighthouse.
Yeah, and realistically, going into some of these fights, the Jalapeños should have a much better chance than what we're seeing. You know, Flashbacks are kind of dominant so far, but what they're playing really isn't the dive comp. This is a rush comp. We're seeing the Sama, Reaper, Moira, Lucio. That's not what you play when you want to dive. You play that when you want to brawl. And so, ideally, you play that, you know, just exactly as it entails. You brawl and you rush into them with that, with your Sombra getting a key hack, yet we're seeing a lot more spaced out fights over a lot of ground. And in that kind of situation with the Junkrat, with the Doomfist, and very good isolated one-on-ones, we should see Jalapeños be able to win these fights. But Flashbacks, they're just winning their battles right now.
All right, well, now we're going to be heading in to the ruins. This is definitely a dive possible map, but typically in the Harmonies tier, we see more of that brawl style coming out, which we see in a bit coming out from the Holy Jalapeños, with Mr. Yeti and Specs opting for the Sigma Roadhog. Dadbot Goku also coming out with that Hanzo, seeing if they can get some damage over distance. Flashbacks able to already get a member on the objective as they are pretty much holding control. Specs pushing in, using the suck to try to keep Vix at bay as Dadbot taking down Apathy. It's a 5v6 fight as we now see Train diving into the backline. Vix able to grab a sniper as well as Train getting the follow-up onto Goku, and that's pretty much gonna be it. The additional picks are gonna come in. Flashbacks are gonna take control of this objective.
Yeah, the Sigma Hog, a little bit questionable. It's going to be kind of difficult to really push in. With this kind of comp, you're really just going to be trying to spam out, kind of poke, play for hooks, play for CC with your Sigma, and try to buy a lot of space for your Hanzo to be able to get the job done. And I mean, we already see they've already built up to that Dragon Strike, but Vix just did so much on the Reaper, already built up to Death Blossom before the end of that fight was even over.
All right, well, let's see if they can hold it together. Mr. Yeti, Ore getting hacked and taken down by Vix. Gravitic Flux comes in, but the B cancels it out as the Dragon Strike tries to grab him in the air. Gonna end up being unsuccessful. Flashback still continuing to hold control as the 5-team Holy Jalapeños tries to move in, but the dive is just too strong for him. Goku able to get that pick onto Monsoon, but it's not going to be enough as Flashbacks hits the 50% mark.
Absolutely, and the ult economy from Flashbacks, you can clearly see going into these fights, they have much more of a fight plan compared to Holy Jalapeños. Jalapeños invest quite a bit going into that team fight, and they get absolutely nothing out of it. The only value they get, forcing Apathy to and Monsoon, to layer both of their support ultimates. But look, they have both tank and DPS ultimates online.
All right, let's see if they can make it happen. Mr. Yeti getting the nano, comes out with the hook,
Big
and now EMP from Anguish. It's a 4-man looking for that cleanup. Blood Hungry's got him in the corner with the Primal, and Vix popping out the Blossom, ends up taking Specs out of the fight. Flashbacks locking it down once again as we head into final fight territory.
Yeah, Flashbacks probably could have kept the Death Blossom coming into this final fight, but look at Apathy, already again with a Coalescence, really been the unsung hero for the last 2 seasons, this guy. The only returning player from Flashbacks, didn't really get a lot of love of some of his counterparts, but really doing a lot of work here on this Moira and already kicking off the fight with a Co. And they don't even touch Jack!
Oh, the boop coming out ends up keeping Doomfist from touching the objective for the Jalapeños, and that's going to be a complete shutout for the side of Flashbacks. 2 maps, 100-0 here on Helios. But folks, there is plenty, and I mean plenty, of match to still be played. So all you Jalapeños fans out there, you hold strong as we get ready to set up for our next match.
Yeah, and if you're the Jalapeños, you got to go back to the drawing board quick, and you got to figure something out. If not, this is going to be a very long night for them.
Right. Well, as we go ahead and wait for the Jalapeños to pick their next map, let's go ahead, take a look in the chat. Not Senza saying, "Wait, Vila? I know that guy."
Yeah, solo Senza.
We do love having Vila back here with us. It's been a while since you've been casting with us, but I believe you're pretty much the main coach for the Jetpack Cats, right? Leading their success last season, and I believe the season before.
No, I played in season 4. I was coaching last season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this season I am sadly not affiliated with the Cats.
Oh,
But I'm sure they will do just as fun. I'm sure they got a great squad again this season, and I'm sure they will do just as well.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I've been hearing a lot coming out of the Cats as I've been talking with players and whatnot over the last couple weeks or so. I just keep hearing that, that JPC is incredibly coachable, And I think that that's something that is great to see in a team when you see the coaching taking root and being super effective and looking to see how they can improve. Now, both of these teams are relatively new, but it seems like the synergy is definitely coming in on the side of the flashbacks for this. What would you recommend for Holy Jalapeños to start looking at to kind of shut down this incredible dive that seems to be coming out from them?
Well, mirroring is always an option. I mean, a lot of people
Hmm.
argue that when it comes to Overwatch, if you're having a hard time, mirroring a comp is always the best way to go. You have all of the advantages and disadvantages right there at your fingertips. But since they're playing a very fast-paced comp, what you would want to do is try to slow the tempo down. Don't play into that. Play in a situation to where you're forcing them to come at you, and
Hmm.
you, like I said, slow the tempo down, and you try to survive that initial wave of cooldowns. The hack, the Reaper coming in at you, and then he's going to try to Wraith form away, kind of ability cycling with the Sombra, a little bit similar to playing Doom Reaper. The
Hmm.
Winston coming in with his bubble. Like, you try to survive that initial wave of cooldowns, and then after that, you can start to get a little more aggressive yourself, and you start to pick up the pieces, and you goad them into positions to where it's hard for them to disengage. That would be a
Okay.
very good idea for Jalapenos. They had a decent idea with it with the Sigma Hub because it's a little more of a poke comp,
Okay.
but they could do a little better with their individual hero picks to make a more suited comp.
All right. Well, maybe some swaps are in order as the Jalapenos going to be pulling out Asterix and Giga Chad for Warring Lemon and Bethcon, team GM and captain of the Jalapenos. So maybe we'll see some swaps if you haven't seen Bethcon's play from the admin pugs. Obviously, the absolute carry for us admins. But hey, working with the Jalapenos could be a matter of life-changing circumstances when it comes to this next match as we head to Assault Map Hanamura. Definitely a popular one amongst the Trank fam here. Lots of locked chokes to try to see if they can get through. And as you were talking about, Vila, those poke comps, surviving those initial cooldowns on a map like Hanamura is definitely one that can be made possible. You have that limited choke, so if you're going dive, many of them are either going to try to jump over the block that's going to be coming in from main, or they're going to try to jump through the window. And so using all of those cooldowns just to be able to get into the objective is going to be hard enough, but now we are actually going to see them go on the defense to start off with the double bubble. Interesting.
Yeah, pretty straightforward comp, and like I said, to start Ilios, flashbacks are not afraid to play meta, and it's exactly what we're seeing. They're running out here on the Sombra Tracer. They've got the Ana Brig, so this is going to be a split comp. We're going to be seeing if Blood and Vix, if they have good chemistry. The goal of them is going to be wanting to go in together, isolating a target, and be on the same page. And we're going to want to see Apathy, Monsoon, and Train playing vaguely near each other in need of peel.
All right, well, we definitely see coming out from the spawn that typical comp that you see in all my gold plat games that normally is pretty successful. It's that Sim TP with the Ryan Zarya, and they are on that objective. The turrets are already up, but Vix is in the thick of it, or able to grab Sniper, so it's a 5v6 fight, 4v6, 3v6. The picks just keep coming in. Mr. Yeti able to grab that pick onto Monsoon, and without the mercy for the side of the flashbacks, they're going to be a hero down as we prepare for the next fight.
Yeah, they just never had a chance. Apathy again, hero play. They all teleport right into the point. Apathy hits a big anti, denying them any kind of healing or regeneration. And even though they didn't get any kills immediately, they were all kept half or below. And then it was just easy sailing for Vix, Anguish, Train, and Blood to immediately just swarm in and clean up all those kills.
All right, well, it looks like Goku gonna go ahead and swap on over to the Mei, looking to see if they can use that crowd control to their advantage and allow Warring Lemon to try to get some picks on those big old tanks. Pulse Bomb Ore coming in from Vix. Doesn't grab the value it's looking for, and now the shield's down for Mr. Yeti. Vix in that backline, able to take down Bethcon, and a Frozen Monkey coming out for Blood Hungry. Anyone say Monkey Popsicle right there? Able to get back into the objective, trying to hold on to control. Will end up taking down Sniper, but Mr. Yeti once again just punishing Monsoon over and over again. The Graviton Surge comes out from Specs, but no follow-up is going to allow them to at least grab a tick on the objective.
Yeah, but that was very good patience from Flashbacks. They don't rush in, they bide their time, they wait for their cooldowns. And my question with the comp the Jalapeños are running is, who are you walling off? Like, who are you trying to isolate in this Blood? He's just gonna jump out of the way. You can't do anything with that. And right now, we're really seeing the comp difference and a big EMP coming out from Anguish here, Jack.
Absolutely. Coalescence countered the EMP, or attempted to, but Blood Hungry getting the double kill regardless, so it's a 4v6. Pulse Bomb going into the backline, getting some damage, so Blood Hungry could finish off Mr. Yeti, and Blood Hungry is indeed hungry for just about every member of the Jalapeños. It doesn't look like the boy has any spice receptors in that mouth whatsoever. They just cleaned up that objective. Minute 20 remaining on the clock.
Yeah, once again, a really clean engage, no tick given up, but Yeti doing a really good job buying space at the very end, getting a couple kills, and almost winning that fight. You know, Specs coming right along with him, and now he's going to have this shatter. They're not going to have an ability to block it, and we're going to see if he can get some good value off of this. No, they won't want their own shatter!
Even if it wasn't for the Maywall, the bubble comes out from Blood Hungry. They were ready for it, and the Primal Rage is back out again. The cleanup crew that is the Flashbacks just seems to get pick after pick, and Monsoon gets punished again. I don't know what it is about Monsoon just being the one that always falls in these fights, but you know what? If you're stuck in Brig Jail, I guess you also stuck in Spawn. As we head into final fight territory, Holy Jalapeños got to figure out a way to get those final 2 ticks.
Yeah, and now you're coming up on your last real fight. They had a Graviton, they had a Blizzard, 2 of their best ultimates, arguably their 2 best ultimates. In terms of fight winning, they squandered both of them, and now this is just all cleanup for Flashbacks.
No.
Triple Pulse Bomb from
That
Vix.
is absolutely punishing. Pulse Bomb, EMP, Graviton Surge ends up grabbing the triple kill. 10 seconds remaining on the clock as Vix gets the final cleanup and sends us in to that truly final fight territory. Apathy and Monsoon with the stun and sleep gonna continue to keep Holy Jalapeños at bay. Not an additional tick to be had on the objective as Holy Jalapeños are locked out at the 45.3% mark.
Yeah, this might be a quick night for the Fighting Potatoes, or excuse me, not the Fighting Potatoes. The Yeti, I think potatoes. Pardon me, the Holy Jalapeños. The Holy Jalapeños.
It's all food, right? It's all food related.
Yeah, it's all food. You know, it's the same thing. You know, same difference. But you know, they come out here on the Ryan Zarya. You know, very straightforward comp, like I was saying at the beginning of the night. A lot of party teams like to run that. But you know, what Flashbacks that are playing is like specifically designed to be able to counter a comp like that, because they can play so split. They can play all around the map. They can just collapse on you. And running the Mei, you have no ability to really isolate anyone because everyone just has mobility. You know, particularly the Winston, who ideally the main tank is who you're walling off and getting isolation on. So now we see them coming out on their defense, and they look like they're sticking to their guns a little bit. We still see the Rhine and the Zarya. They are swapping to a Junkrat, which I think is a very good swap. Same with the McCree, the BAP, good ultimate, as well as more sustained healing and damage. Running BAP Moira, which is a very interesting support lineup, I can say. And we're gonna see if Flashbacks hold true to this Reinhardt. Blood might just be, you know, trolling a little bit, just having fun with spawner. Might swap to a Winston or a Ball, but no.
No, I think they're going to be cheeky and say, you know, if you can do it, we can do it better. So, and that's exactly what we're going to see. Train opting for the Diva over the Zarya as the TP comes out, and they're actually headed to the high ground. They're not going to take it straight into the objective as the Maywall ends up going up. Flashbacks are on that point, and Vix able to get that first pick onto Sniper, but Goku continuing to hold that choke with the rest of the team. Those grenades in that shield opting very strong, but there they come. The picks of Flashbacks start coming in as Monsoon sends Warring Lemon right over the side. The only one left on the objective is Bethcon. And that's it, folks. We are going to finish out map 2 with Flashbacks taking control of Hanamura, taking us to a 2-0 in the first half of our Harmony tier matchup.
Yeah, and the big thing that I want to point out there is that I believe personally, if you're running a Ryan Zarya, you should have a Lucio because speed is such a crucial factor in those brawl comps. And we see Snipper instead on that map. He gets cut off immediately, gets left outside where the mini is. The entire rest of the Jalapeños, I almost said potatoes again. Jalapeños are fighting on the point, gets picked immediately by Vix on that Symmetra. And then you have no speed. You have no ability to quickly recontest or try to rotate together. You lose people on your rotation, and then after that, you're down your main support. And Flashbacks, they just get it easy.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Mr. Yeti commenting in the game chat right now saying, got him right where we want him.
True, he's just
I don't
lulling
know.
them
Are
into
the
a false state of
jalapenos
security.
are the jalapenos just kind of sandbagging us here, or are they really fighting for their lives? We're gonna send it to a quick halftime break. We'll probably put up a poll during that time as well. Is it time for beep beep reverse sweep coming out from the jalapenos after the half, or Flashback's gonna finish this out in a very quick, very violent 4-0? We'll be back with more Overwatch Tranquility action in about 10 minutes. Love you. Welcome back, folks, to the Overwatch Tranquility Tournament. We are already heating up here in Week 1, Stage 1 of the Harmony tier between the Flashbacks and the Holy Jalapeños. I'm Captain Jack, your play-by-play, joined by Vila on Analyst. Now, Vila, Flashbacks, I'm just going to be honest here, I've been a little dominant in these
They look like
in these
flashbacks.
first couple. Yeah, they look like season 5 champion flashbacks, even though most of them have moved up to the Discord tier this season. Is there anything that Holy Jalapeños can pull out to just stop this coordination that just seems to be dominating them right now?
Say a prayer, maybe a few Hail Marys.
Oh, geez. I was looking for a little bit, something a little more substantial there.
In all seriousness, like I said, I think their best bet is to, stick to like more of these poke comps and, really try to just goad out this aggression from flashbacks and, win some of these duels and try to catch them slipping a little bit from time to time. Because, they've mostly been trying to go with these rush comps. And like we saw in Hanamura, no success at all, really, because what flashbacks are playing, just directly countered it. But here on King's Row, it wouldn't be a surprise to see flashbacks go to more of a Ryan comp, maybe see them go to a rush or a brawl themselves. It's kind of like a Rialto, where, like a tight corners and 90-degree angles make it a lot more suitable for Ryan and Orisa-based comps. Yeah. And we are seeing that so far out of the Holy Jalapeños. But, right now it looks like flashbacks, they're going to hold true. They're going to stick on this Winston, and they are still going to play this Winston rush comp.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Like, that, it's something that they've obviously practiced a lot. We saw it in the preseason with their match against Koala Kings, and it worked out rather effectively there as well. But I will note that I hope that this isn't a one trick and pony show coming out from the flashbacks. I hope that they are prepared, because as we know, Blizzard likes to keep us on our toes when it comes to those metas. So Dive gets a little too powerful. That might be the next thing to fall once again. But coming out once again from the Holy Jalapeños, we got Yeti and Specs coming in on the Ryan Zarya hack, already coming in on the Specs, looking to see if they can make that space as they take over the hotel. But Train gonna get that initial pick on Yeti as the shield falls, and that is just gonna be a continuing follow-up as we see Blood Hungry and Train essentially playing leapfrog with one another, chasing the Jalapeños wee back to their spawn. 3 minutes, 20 seconds remaining on the clock.
Yeah, just a really clean engagement by flashbacks. A very nice attempt on the rush by the Jalapeños going through hotel. Specs comes around the right-hand side, getting a little more damage, getting some charge on the personal bubble. But just not enough. They didn't clean up the fight right away, and so as we're seeing this more long-paced comp from flashbacks, they're able to roll right back through the Rhine comp going out from Jalapeños.
All right, well, that was actually a relatively good play from the Jalapeños. We ended up seeing Mr. Yeti getting hacked out, but it looks like the cleanup came in nonetheless with the damage from the Coalescence. Monsoon Asterix wasn't able to speed out soon enough, and Giga Chad during the last fight opted to swap on over to the Echo. How do you think that's going to change things up as we head into the next fight?
Well, I mean, Echo is one of the best heroes right now, but, with this comp, not incredibly well suited, but that's a big shotter from Yeti.
Yeti is just charging in, not a care in the world, ends up going in, getting that shatter, double kill, double slam, but the Monsoon beat coming in clutch is not a pick to be had, but there goes Mr. Yeti, not able to hold on. EMP gets countered, but the Dragon Graviton comes in huge. Goku able to grab the triple kill. Train able to get the follow-up onto Giga Chad with the Diva Bomb, though. Control still being held by the flashbacks in this 2v2 fight. It's healers versus Train and Apathy. Apathy falling incredibly low, ends up dashing back to the safety of the team as Anguish trying to get that hack onto Mr. Yeti, but they're looking to get that first initial tick. Now we see the dive coming back in. Mr. Yeti ends up getting hacked once again as Vix grabs Specs. It's a 5v6 as the beat gets invested by Asterix, looking to see if they can continue to hold this shatter coming in, grabbing the 3. D-Mech coming in onto Train from Goku, and now the Coalescence follow-up from Bethcon looks to see if they can grab the value. They're looking for the duplicate from Giga Chad. Diva Bomb goes high, doesn't get the value that they're hoping for. First hit, Blossom from Vix, quadruple kill. Coming out with the Coalescence from Apathy, able to grab Asterix in the end. 2 minutes off of that time bank as we head into final fight territory.
Geez, what to even say about that fight? It looks so promising for the Jalapeños. 2 really big shatters at the beginning and at the end by Yeti there, but there's just really no follow-up, and the sustain from the side of Flashbacks was just way too good. And now we're seeing a free beat coming in from Monsoon because Specs had to use that grab, and now this one's going to get cleaned up really quick, and Jalapeños, they're going to be lucky if they get one clean fight, one clean push to come back into this objective here, Jack.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate right there. Mr. Yeti also using the shatter, but didn't have the speed or the cleanup crew to be able to take care of the 3 that ended up going down. 10 seconds remaining on the clock as they look to charge back into the objective. No boops to keep them away from it, so they're going to be able to touch with the speed boost, but the hack coming in onto Mr. Yeti. Mr. Yeti just swinging for the stars, trying to see if they can hold strong. Diva Bomb coming out, not a shield to be had, and Train grabs the double kill. Overtime ticking away right now as Asterix tries to hold on. Anguish and Train grabbing those additional picks, and Apathy sending out the Coalescence one last time. Team kill rings loud and proud as the Holy Jalapeños only able to grab 40.2% on the King's Row objective alpha.
Yeah, fortunately they were able to get at least one last full fight as a unit, but we come in, we see Anguish get a really nice hack onto Yeti, just been harassing him all map.
Yeah.
And, you know, that combined with the fact that Specs used both of his bubbles on Zarya very, very early, initiating into the fight, so Yeti just had no protection, went down immediately. The Diva Bomb comes out from Train. A second hack comes in onto Beth, again from Anguish, so no fade to get her out of that fight. She goes down to the bomb, and then it's just all cleanup. And in Flashbacks, it's looking very promising to be able to go in and clinch this series here on point A.
Yeah, it looks like this might be the end of the road, at least for this first matchup between the Jalapeños and the Flashbacks. But you know what, folks? We have seen even clutcher moves come out of a team before, so start blowing up that chat. Let us know, do you think that the Holy Jalapeños are going to start heating things up, and this is going to be a full lockout of objective alpha to get them that first point of the evening, or Flashbacks just going to take this in a fervor like they've been taking everything else from the Jalapeños tonight? 10 seconds remaining on the clock before those spawn doors open. Let's get hype as we see Flashbacks getting ready to move into this objective.
Oh, Apathy going for a big nade here. Let's get the camera on this, maybe. Going over the top of Hotel. No, doesn't quite land. Goes back to the Moira. And now Anguish is going to be the person to watch here, seeing if they can get a really nice hack angle on this attack onto Yeti. Here they come up from the top right of the high ground. Sure enough, they get the hack onto Yeti, forcing him to get back.
Yeah, the bubble's available, able to hold strong for now. Blood Hungry ends up falling to Goku early. The hack comes in once again onto Yeti. Just obviously Anguish's little pin cushion right there as the hacks continue to come in. Giga Chad and Bethcon end up falling, but Mr. Yeti able to grab Monsoon. That's a really good pick for them to hold on to, but the numbers keep dwindling. The trade comes out, but the spawn advantage is in the favor of Flashbacks. First tick and 40.4%, folks. Flashbacks take away the victory here on King's Row and take the victory in our matchup tonight against the Holy Jalapeno.
Yeah, and there we saw, once again, just a really nice hack angle from Anguish. They've been struggling a little bit throughout that through the series. I've been noticing, you know, a lot of hacks get canceled, a lot get interrupted, but right there they chose the perfect angle onto Yeti. They lose blood right away, but despite that, he gets a secondary hack onto Yeti again, and then, you know, they catch a lot of members of Jalapeños kind of outslipping, just out around the center of point, just kind of overextending a little bit, being in places where they shouldn't really be, isolating them, getting those kills, and then they're able to make it work here, Jack.
Yeah, that's really what it ends up coming down to. And I'll remind y'all what we said on the Iris podcast last night. This is only week 1, folks. All right, we're gonna have some teams that have really been putting in the hours, have really been putting their noses and skills to the grindstone to be ready for the start of the season. But that does not mean that any of these teams can't make a comeback. So Holy Jalapeños, keep holding your head up high because we still got one more match left to go. It's all about map differential in these first 2 stages, folks. And we're gonna see some swaps coming out once again. Snipper gonna be coming in, as well as Asterix for Bethcon and Goku, as we head on over to everyone's favorite place to get your kicks, Route 66. All right, I think we might have lost Vila there for a moment, so let's go ahead and look into the chat. Shromo saying, I will replace the incense on the shrine I have for you in my cellar. Vila, I feel like people kind of missed you.
It's much appreciated. Thank you, guys.
I can feel it myself, and I'm sure Vila is just absolutely flush with your appreciation, folks. Although it may be borderlining a little bit on creepy, but nevertheless, as we head into Route 66, I gotta say, this map absolutely does Holy Jalapeños no favors. First 2 points are absolutely dive dominated, so it's gonna be it might be really difficult for them to be able to hold on to this, but I mean, I don't have my pirate's hat ready, but I get a sense that we might be seeing a pirate ship.
Oh yes. Please don't swap. Do not swap off of
we are headed into the make or break section here, folks. Sometime.
Yeah, please pull up some Pirates of the Caribbean music. Can we get that on stream, please? Can we get the rights, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't think I have the rights to that one, but
oh,
I'll check. I'll see if I can get Depp on the horn, or Disney, or
there we go. Get Disney to totally be reasonable and try to give us some love with 5 seconds of Pirates of the Caribbean for that joke. Let's go ahead and get into the action, though. The pirate ship coming out with Specs and Mr. Yeti, opting for the Orisa Sigma. Vice the Rhine. So that's going to be an interesting choice. And GigaChat opting for the Torb as well, so we got double turret action as the dive comes in. Warring Lemon already getting hacked, but still surviving for now. GigaChat and Mr. Yeti able to get those initial picks, and that might be it right here, folks. The anti-nade comes in, but Mo is going to hold everybody up as that payload continues to move its way forward.
Yeah, there we just saw a really good example of rally around the Bastion. It's all you really gotta do in this comp. Just keep him up, keep your support and your heals on him as much as you possibly can. I really thought Flashbacks were gonna disable this comp originally because they got Roaring to do exactly what they wanted them to do, and that's get up off of that cart and start walking around the recon form. But they're able to hold it out, and now Blood already going down so low. Can they get this first point here, Jack?
Well, it looks like they might just fall a little short here, and that's the worst part about the pirate ship composition, is if you can't get it to that next point, it's really hard to continue to hold on to. The picks came in, the dive was super effective with the sleep dart from Apathy, able to send Warring Lemon off the side, and able to get that pick once everybody else was out of the way. We're heading into the 2-minute mark now, as we see the swap on over to the Hanzo and the Roadhog instead of the Bastion Orisa.
Yeah, we see both DPS swaps coming in as well, and this is the really hard part, is we see a huge ult economy in the favor of Flashbacks. 4 ults on the board, including their win condition, which is the EMP. And then meanwhile, you look at Jalapeños, I mean, 3 of them just swapped. That's a massive disparagement in ult charge, and we're seeing a big EMP can to capitalize on this.
Yep, there's that EMP coming out, trying to hold on. Specs in the Immortality field, holding on with Mr. Yeti, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Anguish and Vix just take control of that tunnel as we see Train choo-chooing their way right through. Team kill ringing out loud and proud as we see 1.5 minutes remaining on the time bank.
Yeah, personally, I think the EMP came out a little bit early. They were able to go and hide back in that tunnel, but we saw them get collapsed on from both angles, from the tank line on the front-hand side, and then we see Vix and Anguish coming in on the back. Really nice pincer attack coming in from Flashbacks. They use a few more ults than I would have liked, but still a very good fight by them, but a very good early pick on the Apathy by Waring.
That is a great place to start out, and without the Mercy, they're able to hold strong, but Specs ends up getting hacked out and taken out of the Gravitic Flux, so it's a 5v5 fight right now. Immortality and Amp Matrix coming out, but Flashbacks are just pushing right through it. That window gonna hold strong. The res, though, able to come in for Specs as they take down Monsoon, and the remake comes back in for Train. Now it's a 2v1 fight on the objective as the rest of the team ends up getting chased back by Anguish and Vix. And with all the ultimates that Flashbacks now has online, this final fight is gonna be deadly.
Yeah, and we see no ults for Jalapeños coming into this, and another EMP up for Anguish. And it's huge. It takes out their only ultimate they have right now, which is by Warring Lemon. They're not going to be able to use that Dragon Strike, but they use it a little bit early, and we're not going to see any follow-up by Flashbacks. But a triple coming out from Vix!
Man, pulse bomb coming in from Vix once again, and the cleanup just comes in huge. Mr. Yeti gonna be the only one that can touch the objective. The whole hog and nothing but the hog tries to yeet him away, but it's not gonna be enough, and they're not gonna be able to touch in time. 79.58 meters, just shy of objective number 1 as Flashbacks heads onto the attack.
And the silver lining for Jalapeños is you get almost to point A. This is definitely one of those maps where I think everybody has had at least one encounter in ranked Overwatch where you full hold on Route 66, they almost cap point A, you stop them, and you're just like, great, we've won this match. All right, all we gotta do is get point A. And then they full hold you even worse because it's a deceptive amount of distance to go to get to point A. So It is very possible they can play around this gas station. They can try to jump on them with these rush comms or with a Bastion or something else that they've had up their sleeve throughout tonight. And there is at least a possibility for them to be able to get the fuller hold and force us to, or actually they wouldn't be forcing them to, but at least getting a map win out of this.
Absolutely. I saw the comment in the chat asking if this is a 1st to 4 scenario, and it is not. So we do this very similar to how they do it in the Overwatch League. So it's kind of a best of 5 scenario, but we go to 4 maps, even if 3 maps are already completed, because map differential matters when we go into stage 2 and into the playoffs. So depending on how teams are sitting, that map differential, that one victory can change who ends up going to the playoffs and who ends up finding themselves on the sidelines. So be sure to continue to tune in as we see what is going to happen here. Oh my goodness. Flashback's just memeing now. Oh my goodness.
Oh, they're going to the
anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. Oh man,
getting set.
The ball hog torture coming out from the Holy Jalapeños, and I gotta say, that's probably not going to be helpful here. Specs able to get the hook onto the Bastion to start things off, but they're able to regroup and back up. The hack, though, coming in on Mr. Yeti, and Anguish going to be able to follow up on that kill. Big Earls is being held on that high ground, but that's not going to help prevent the payload from moving its way forward. 50 meters, 55, moving in and quickly getting up to that 66 on 66, and we're heading into the final fight right now. 3 minutes still remaining on the clock as Mr. Yeti just barely able to touch the objective, able to activate the defense shield, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to hold out. Tank mode now coming out from Vix as they use it to get on the high ground over the objective and just absolutely decimate anyone that tries to touch. Flashback in an absolute fervor take every single map tonight 4-0 in our matchup against the Holy Jalapeños. But once again, folks, it's only week 1. There's lots more Overwatch to be played over the next couple months, and Holy Jalapeños now know what they got to look out for the next match.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's still week 1. I mean, coming into this final fight, I mean, it's just a shame seeing a ball trying to play up against the Sombra. You know, Yeti just could not do anything. This got hacked at least 2 or 3 times in that final round alone. But you know, there's always room to improve. I mean, the way our tournament is set up is that, you know, playoffs really come down to the last couple of weeks. You know, you almost always have a chance, you know, until week 7, until week 8. You know, you always have that opportunity. So Jalapeños, you know, as you said, it's still week 1. They still have a lot of opportunities to get in there. Flashbacks, same level of dominance we've expected. Same we saw last season. Same we saw in the preseason. They're keeping it up, and I really look forward to see what they do throughout the rest of the regular season as well.
Absolutely. And I got to say that, you know, stage 1 is just kind of a sorting hat right now. So Flashbacks could absolutely come out of stage 1 completely undefeated, but we've got a lot of new faces, not only in the Harmony tier, but in every tier this season. So, you know, Flashbacks might be holding strong now, but, you know, opponents like the Koala Kings, they're put up a really good fight. The score was 3-1 for the preseason finals, but that did not do that match justice, folks. It was a really close fight between these two teams, and with, you know, with other teams that didn't even participate in the preseason tournament. Honestly, it is up in the air at this point, folks. Tomorrow night, I want to remind everyone that half of you will lose. We said it on the Iris last night. Half of you will lose this first match, and it's okay. It's absolutely okay, folks. So be sure to keep working at it, putting your nose to the grindstone, or hey, if you're just here to have fun, I hope you have fun. That's really all that matters at the end of the day. So we're going to go ahead and throw it to you all in the chat. Let us know who your player of the match is in Vila, since you have made such a wonderful and appreciated comeback for our community. I'm going to go ahead and let you start us off.
Oh, for me, I mean, I've said their name, you know, a couple times tonight. It's Apathy. You know, the person who, you know, you had a lot of people last season, you know, like Nova, like Seraph, who really got a lot of love, who made a lot of big noticeable impacts for the team. Apathy just never really got that amount of recognition, but they were such a stable piece in that puzzle to help them get that championship. And we're already seeing it as the one returning member of Flashbacks tonight. My player of the match has to be Apathy. Anti-nades were absolutely fantastic. Moira, we all know that they get coalescence really quick, but Apathy, particularly tonight, was so quick with their coalescence charges. Their fade usage was really great, always keeping themselves alive, keeping themselves up, keeping that sustain for the tank line in the front in these rush comps. Absolutely Apathy.
Yeah, and those anti-nades were coming in huge several times over tonight. But I gotta, you know, we give love to the DPS. So for week 1, I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead and give some of that right now. And I've gotta set it up for Vix. The positioning on that tracer over and over and over again tonight has been absolutely deadly. Partnering with Anguish, able to take advantage of those EMPs or those huge gravitons coming in from the tank line, and just able to get single, double, triple pulse bomb kills, and be, even when they don't end up sticking it to someone, ends up still being super effective enough that the team can be able to follow up and get those final picks regardless. So Vix, you're walking away with my player of the match tonight. Go ahead and take a quick look in the chat and see who everybody is shouting out for. It looks like we've got some love for Anguish as well. That Sombra play was absolutely huge. Train on the Diva majority of the night, and some of that Zarya play was absolutely big as well. Vila is apparently being simped very hard by Shromo, so just so you know. But nevertheless, and then some love coming in from Mr. Yeti. And apparently I'm also a player of the match, even though I'm just the one that talks a lot. So thank you so much, chat, for being here with us. Again, we have set another record on y'all participating with us tonight, hitting almost 130, if not 130 viewers tonight on this stream. Everything that we do for our community, everything we do to feed back into it, really comes from your participation. So thank you so much for joining us. If this is your first time here, remember, hit that heart, punch that bell. It only gets better from here, folks. We got Transcendence tier match coming up tomorrow night, which is going to be between Ghostly Peppers and Caprophobia, which, if you didn't know, is the fear of goats. And then for Thursday night, we're going to be seeing Joey Esports versus, as NPC would say, Calamatus. So that's definitely going to be an interesting match. Joey Esports, definitely a love in that Discord tier. And then, of course, Monday night is our Irish podcast. And then next Tuesday is going to be our next Harmony tier match between Firefight and a Tranquility favorite, Modify. So be sure to tune in to all that action. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Mondays are all at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Wednesdays, we're trying out something new because Fridays didn't seem to work for a lot of people. So we're doing it on Wednesday night at 9:30. So it's going to be just about around when matches start to end. As you know, everyone plays on Wednesday night. So if you're streaming or if you're participating in those matches, be sure to send your viewers, send yourselves over to the Trank channel once you're all done with your match and be able to enjoy some more amazing Overwatch action. I want to give a special thank you to our producer, Cavalier, the king, that just is always feeding so hard into this community. I just can't. I love this man so much. And thank you all for being here. But we got to sign off now. My name's Captain Jack, and that's Vila, and we'll see you all next time.